Good evening, welcome to youtube.com/Geek Aloud. Today we are playing Redfall, newly released into Xbox Game Pass, courtesy of Arkane Studios and Bethesda. And if you can see Troy just jumping in front of me, trying to make himself known just in front there.
Hello.
So we have set ourselves up with a party. It is a co-op game. I think I've probably put about 3 hours into it, Troy. I'm not sure how far you've put in.
I put about 20 minutes in, mate. I've just set up the base of operations here, the firehouse, and that's all I know.
Very good, very good. So what we might do is, just for those that aren't aware, so it depends on who is actually hosting the game as to who gets the mission saved into their progress. So we've got Troy hosting the game as such, and then I've joined into his game. So the next mission that we'll do, it'll go towards his progress, which doesn't really matter in this instance because I've already done the mission that we're about to do. But it does actually save your... so for the other person that's in it, it'll save your weapons, it'll save your upgrades and any currency and ammo and that sort of stuff you get. So it's not like it's unbeneficial playing in someone else's game, but certainly, if you were to sort of, I guess, do it as a group together, you'd probably want to switch back and forth depending on who your party leader is. So, have you've accepted the mission there, Troy?
I have, mate. We are good to go. Although I will raise my first question with this game: what the hell's going on with the UI, bully? This is the dirtiest UI I've seen in some time.
It was funny you say that because I was sort of playing it, and there's some parts of it that look really good. There's some weapon animations and stuff like that. So just so you know where we're going, if you go to the right, Troy, and I'll carry on, you can see 2 plumes of smoke.
Is that a robot dog following you? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's so I can utilise him as a. So he can distract enemies and draw them towards him.
I bet it was distracting me.
It was a bit weird when I started playing with him, but especially doing a solo game.
Is that a character-specific perk, or is that like a skill tree perk?
No, character-specific. So he was with me from the start before I started unlocking. Before I started unlocking any perks and leveling up. So not bad. I think I've only used him sort of once. I've unlocked 2 perks now. I've got him where he can distract, and I've got another one where I can throw C4.
Do we want to shoot these cultists?
Yes, let's do that. Now, that's the other thing I'm always interested in when you do co-op games is the difference with, I guess, the bullet sponginess of the enemies, which they're not taking a lot more hits, but they're taking a few. So,
and the other thing I'll note in that I didn't notice this at all in single player. Granted, I didn't fire my weapon much, but there appears to be a significant, and I say significant, we're talking maybe a handful of frames, but there is a significant delay in me pulling the trigger and the gun going off when I'm hosting a game with you versus when I just did the opening sort of 20 minutes offline solo. Weird.
Yeah, I must admit I haven't really noticed any frame rate issues as such. It is a bit slow, but that's just the 30 frames I was getting as compared to a lot of the 60 frames that you were sort of, used to.
That's the point you raised, man. Maybe it is just the old 60 frames a second, 30 frames a second issue. But I just did not notice it when it was single player, though. I was like, pull the trigger and the gun goes off straight away. But now it's like pull, pause, then action on screen. It's weird.
Yeah, so I'm not sure with that. Just having a look in the chat there. Unky Dunky's in there. How is the frame rate? Well, there you go. We were just discussing it there. Troy seems to be having some issues with it. If you come up to this little marker here...
Oh, yeah, fast travel.
That'll give you some fast travel.
I love it.
And then I'll try and remember where I went. So down to the side of this big building. So I don't think it was in that sort of intro section, but if you come over to here, you'll see that red mist sort of stuff.
Yeah, I can see that.
That will kill you or start
Okay.
start draining your health if you go in there. So.
Well, thank you for telling me, not sending me in and then sending back and laughing.
Maybe I should have done that. Would have been funny.
No, you're not cruel at heart, Billy. It's not in your nature.
I found a couple, because it's funny, because I found a couple of caves and stuff that you can go into, but you sort of, once you get into it, you can't progress any further. So I assume at some point you'll unlock some ability or some option, I suppose, is to be able to either deflect it, get rid of it, or become immune to it. I assume. I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay. Maybe they just clear it. Maybe it's like Fog of War, and as you do certain missions, they just delete it from the map.
Well, maybe the other thing as well I found is you'll find that there is some of the enemies will throw essentially what's a grenade, and the grenade is instead of exploding it throws that red mist out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Red mist grenade. Now, is it worth going back to that safe house and unlocking it, or is that irrelevant and move on?
You can, but you need a lockpick to be able to get in there, and I don't.
I happen to have one in my inventory.
Oh, okay. I didn't have one when I came past here last time. So
yeah, I was downstairs in the boat, right at the start.
Yes, yeah.
And then I was doing my standard thing of walking around, kicking all the corners in, just to see what the developers sort of left untucked. And in doing that, I found a corpse that, when looting, gave me a lockpick.
So
right off the bat, I got one.
Nice. So if you look over here, that's the safe house, but you need to give it power to unlock it, which is in this room here. So if you've got a lockpick, you'll be able to get into there and switch the power on, unlock the safe house. So I just had a look. Unky's telling me that you can kill the vampire creating the mist with a violet light to get rid of it. Is that, just for my info, is that the ones that are on the map already, that there's a vampire in that mist somewhere that you can use that UV light on? Because I do have, in fact have a UV light that I've unlocked.
Nice. Oh, look out behind you, Billy. There's a glowing dude. Or is that a friendly? No, that's a cultist.
Nah, they're everywhere. Oh, geez, and I'm about to die.
Man, surely it's not the 30-second thing, because I didn't notice when I was doing it by myself. But now that we're online, there is a clear and noticeable delay between me pulling the trigger and the gun going off.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know whether that's...
Maybe it's just a host privilege.
Oh, Lord. I don't know whether that's just lag with...
be down, but I didn't even know my health was low. How do I fix that?
Well, that's one annoying thing I've found is, if I can find the bloke that's killing you, because he's...
I think he's just over the fence from me,
Oh,
mate.
gotcha. Yeah, he's popping up. Oh, there's two of them there. That's all right. I'll throw my C4 over the top there.
Well, now, I have a slow counting down. I reckon you got about 20 seconds until I'm dead.
Oh, I'm getting shot. No, we're both dead. I got shot as well.
Oh, dear.
Well, that wasn't a...
What are the snipers called that? The bleeding out tactic? You shoot one bloke in the leg and shoot all his mates when they come to save him?
Yes.
Now, is this the safe house we were just unlocking?
Yeah, so thankfully...
That worked out kind of well.
Thankfully, you managed to flick the power switch for us, so that got us here,
well, I think it was flicking the power switch that drew him to it. So I suspect when we go outside, we're going to get owned.
Well, see, I have found that when you respawn, though, any of the enemies that you killed before you died are gone, so...
Oh, yep.
You'll find it looks like most of them are gone, so...
And, Bully, I haven't equipped it yet, but when I was mucking around a minute ago, I happened to pick up a purple shotgun that's level 2, and then I've just noticed I've got something that's bloody yellow.
Yeah, yellow. So I've got a yellow shotgun, but I've also got a purple UV light, which is what Unky's telling me with those red mist bits. So you got to use the UV light. They're hunched over. Don't move within the mist. Use the UV light, and then attack to break them. And he's followed that up with this game desperately needs 60 frames a second. I don't disagree with Yankee.
This game needs a bit more than 60 frames a second.
And it probably needs some work on the
menus, the UI.
Well, there's that. And it probably needs a bit of work on the multiplayer aspect of, as we discussed, the connection. Now let's see. So I reckon that's the vampire in there.
That sounds like one.
Got him.
Nice.
So there we go. That's cleared that mist, which is very handy.
Oh, Unky Dunky giving us 10-point rare achievements. Thanks, Unky. And, Bully for actually doing the work.
Oh, did you have an achievement pop for that?
Just then, I got an achievement pop for killing old mate in the mist.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. I'm certain I haven't done that, and it didn't pop for me. But anyway.
Maybe it's one of the ones that you'll turn it off and turn it back on again, or go into single player and then it'll pop retroactively. Maybe it's a host only.
Well, hopefully, yeah. Oh, I know why. Because I'm using the UV light in essence to drag that mist away, and then what you're doing is killing him.
Oh, yeah, it was for killing. It said, whatever, killing, whatever. So maybe next time I'll just stand back, you can clear the mist and then kill him and get the 10 points yourself.
That's all right. We'll check it out because there is another one right here. And this is...
Man, those trees look terrible as well.
Well, that's what I said. I find it's kind of funny because there's some... that's not working at all. There's some aspects of the game that you sort of look at it and you go, actually, that looks quite good. And there's other aspects that just look terrible. It's
almost as though the game's not finished. Like it's been released in some sort of beta form.
Yes. Oh, there you go.
It for you?
Yes, got the pop.
Nice work.
Got the pop.
Got the pop.
Got the pop.
I wonder if the old Starfield wasn't, 6 months off, whether they would have cooked this one for another 6 months. Actually had time to do, cutscenes, finish the UI, tidy up the trees, get the frame rate locked in, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It seems to me like they've sort of just said, look, we need to get something out, and
yeah,
in whatever way, shape, or form we can get it out, we get it out.
I agree. Now, there's a first aid box here that you run past, please, so I don't know if that's going to be worth it for you or not.
I think I'm fully loaded with the...
check.
With them at this stage.
Stand back, Red Barrel. Stand back, Bully.
But you're right. There is a definite delay.
Isn't there?
A definite lag.
It's not much, but it's there. Especially when you go from something, and I think you've finished it, so I don't know, maybe you've hung up your Resident Evil spree, mate, but I've still been working my way through the old Resi 4, and it's so noticeable, like how punchy that one is for...
Yeah.
Pulling the trigger and having it go boom. Especially with the hand cannon. No shit, that's wonky. Thanks for telling me how to unlock the hand cannon.
I must admit, I've done a little bit of the mercenary stuff from there, but I've got to go back and do... Ooh, got a purple assault rifle.
I only got a green handgun out of that.
Purple assault rifle. So we've got... that's the first of the two that we've got to get at, and if
did we have to do something specific to make it go click, or was
no, there was a radio that you had to tick inside the chopper, but I've already done it.
Oh, nice work. I see.
So if you come over to me, you'll look off into the distance and see that there's another plume off into the distance over there. Plume. So that's our next
target.
That's our next target. So once we go and clear that one, that'll be this mission complete, which is effectively where I got up to. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Is there a specific way up, or... Man, it's hard to get a feel for it. You're like, is it a Fallout game where it's really open and you can do that dodgy Bethesda, work your way up the hillside with jank?
You can a little bit. Now, I think the other funny thing, if you look at the map, which I'll bring up now for anyone that's watching, but it's quite. I find it quite strange that the map isn't that big.
Yeah.
You know, and I get that they sort of go that there's going to be a little bit of back and forth with missions and going back to some of the areas, but like you're going through this section that we're going through now, and it's not a very heavily populated area in terms of buildings or anything like that. You can sort of work your way through.
Somewhat sparse.
So I don't know how going forward they sort of say, well, you know, we've got enough content to be able to make it worth your while, I guess.
Unless, do you think they're going to Elden Ring us, mate, and the map will just grow and grow and grow as we discover more areas in game, maybe? Oh,
potentially, but or maybe that's, you know, down the track, I guess, DLC. So, maybe. Oh, there you go, Unky again. He's saying it's like Fallout 76. There's no real NPCs to interact with in the world, and there are 2 separate maps. So there must be another map.
I wonder if it's the basement, Elden Ring style. You go
or
down,
whether it just sort of extends. I don't know. Like just looking at that map that I'm showing up on screen there.
Yeah, those hard edges suggest they could just pop another section on at any moment.
Yeah. So I guess I don't know. I'm sort of sitting on the fence a little bit. I don't know what your thoughts are, and maybe when you put a bit more time into it, Troy, you get a bit more of a feel. But I'm sort of sitting on the fence as to how much more time I'll actually end up putting into this.
Yeah,
to be honest with you,
at this stage.
Because obviously it's got some performance issues. You know, they've spoken about the 60 frames patch that they're looking at.
Yeah.
At bringing out, but it almost seems, as you mentioned, like Fallout. It's pretty much like Fallout 76. It's this big world that really is sparsely populated, pretty repetitive, and you know, not once you get over the initial sort of this is how it is. There's not a lot of, I guess, reason to come back to it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, granted, I'm about 30, 40 maybe minutes in at this stage. But there is not a whole lot here. Considering all the other meals on my plate at the minute, still going on Resident Evil 4, just started a Star Wars Jedi Survivor playthrough. Like, this game is not sitting in the top sort of top 3 to 5 games I'll be looking to fire up.
Well, and it's funny you mentioned Star Wars. Obviously, came out a couple of days ago, or late last week, and I've probably put about 10, 12 hours into it at this stage, and the difference in quality in between the two of the games is absolutely incredibly noticeable when you play them, almost back to back, I suppose, where you put a bit of time into Star Wars and you jump into this, and it almost seems, to be honest, almost like a last gen game.
Ooh, scathing comment there. I don't know if I'd quite go to last gen, but I hear what
like as in a PS4 game or a Xbox One game. Just it almost feels like that's where we're at. When you factor in the 30 frames, when you factor in graphically, not the greatest looking game. It's okay, but it's not the greatest looking game. When you talk, you were talking about the UI before that.
The UI is shocking.
That it's not a great UI experience.
And I would argue there are 200 titles that spring to mind from the last gen that did a better UI than this game. This UI in this is really made on a PC for a PC gamer.
Well, that was the thing when we were trying to get link up and become a team in the game. Moving, it's got the ridiculous. Move the thumbstick and it moves the mouse cursor around the screen type thing, which is, as you expect out of a PC game, but not out of a console game, although it seems to infiltrate every now and then. And most of the time I can sort of work with it, but this one just seemed to be at a jump and it'd miss the mark. You'd think you're about to hit what you need to hit and it'd miss it. And
yep, 100%. 100%. That's like you compare the easiest one to compare this to, I reckon, is Destiny's 2. Destiny 2's main menu is this exact PC UI cursor thing, but you never miss the mark on that. It's always, bang over to this one, you land on it, you adjust the setting you want to, and you get going. They've got it working.
Yeah.
Whereas
yeah.
this game just is nowhere near having the PC UI work on a console. And I would argue Microsoft should be prioritizing the console release of this game over everything else.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I assume this came to PC on the same day, but I haven't checked,
No, I haven't checked either. It's not, not something that I've sort of looked at. Not I don't really play a lot of PC games. So that is us done, I think.
So that then go here.
Or doing it.
Right.
Have you got?
Yeah, I'm just flicking over to the missions now. Secure the supply crate. 2 birds, 1 stone.
Oh, so that might be the last one we've got, which is down. You can see it on your map, the orange.
Oh yes, indeed. It's saying to secure that, and that's the end of the mission.
So I think that, from memory, was down this way.
Cool. Yeah, it appears to be following a river, and it looks like we're in a river, so I reckon you're on the money.
And I think, just so you're aware, there was 2 or 3 groups of 3 or 4 vampires.
Okay.
Down here as well. Not to give the game away, although I probably have. Anyway.
It's all good, man. I'll roll the heads up. Oh, on the left.
There.
What's that?
That's one of them.
As I was sort of alluding to, man, a little bit lacking in production values. I feel like instead of making cutscenes, they animated their storyboards. Like, they went the real cheap option. And I kind of vagued out when I felt like they'd done an intro movie on the cheap. So my question to you is this. Did they at all explain why the water stands up the way it does right at the start when you're on that ferry or boat or whatever?
No, well, it's funny you say that, because when you start off, I was under the impression that this, vampire invasion or takeover or whatever was occurring at the start of the game, essentially. And that you were sort of, that was the kickoff to the game. It was just, it's all starting to happen and you're thrown in the midst of it. But then, I think I might have got the...
I think we need your UV light down here.
Alright, stand by. Yeah, so I was confused by that as well with the... with the story and the way it kicked off, because you go through that like you feel like it's just all kicking off, but then you turn up at the firehouse and it's like it's been going on for ages and everyone sort of knows what's going on, and they've worked out their way, their little group and how they're going to survive, and all this sort of stuff. So I don't know. The story's a bit strange.
Yeah, and this whole game across the board, I would say, feels like it's half cooked. The story doesn't make any sense because they've half cooked the cutscenes.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I'll just say a quick g'day to Sean Games, who's joined us in there. And
hey, Sean.
Unky Dunky's just made the comment. I think he's probably put about the same, maybe 3 or 4 hours into it, and he's saying he's definitely going to park it until such point as they patch out some of those issues.
Yeah, nice. What about you, Sean? Have you gone hands-on with Redfall? Any thoughts from your side, mate? Now, is Tagaro an Xbox gamer, or is he on PlayStation, I wonder?
Maybe Unky can answer that. I know he's on PlayStation. I'm fairly certain he's on PlayStation. I'm not sure he's got the Xbox as well. Like, ooh, damn.
Oh, are you in trouble there? Oh, there's a guy on the roof. Hey, Bully, there's a guy next to you.
I know, he stuck up and got me.
I felt like, what's his name? Your back just got hit twice. Dave Chappelle, of course, the name I'm looking for there and failing to pull up.
So I think I reckon I'll be pretty much the same. I think I've seen what there is to offer. Is there enough there to really get me excited? And to be honest, I was pretty excited with the release of it, and I know that there'd been some pre-release footage and that sort of stuff that a few people were concerned about the 30 frames and some other sort of things like that. But I actually, to be honest, didn't. You look back at Gotham Knights, I didn't think that was an experience killer. The fact that was, now I'm down.
Oh shoot! Anne and I fast travelled back to the fire station.
How are you?
Can I fast travel to you? I'll try and leg it to you. I think you're pretty close. Sorry, man. Didn't mean to leave you high and dry. A prompt came up and said fast travel, and I went with it.
Well, it says I can. Hang on. It says I can return to the. Oh, so you can just go back to the fire station. It said I could go back there, so it's killed me, and I think I'll be back at the fire station now anyway. So I didn't think that the 30 frames in and of itself was going to be an experience killer, but when you factor it in with some of the issues, like obviously we're playing co-op online as it sits now, that we've got a few issues with input lag, the UI that we've discussed, all those sort of things. You put all that together, and for something that I was quite excited about, I've really gone off the boil, to be honest, after the 3 or 4 hours that I've played. And yep. I'll probably agree with Unky that I don't think at this point, maybe beyond this session, that I'll be playing a heck of a lot more until they go in and patch out some of the issues.
Yeah, it's I'm right there with both of you blokes. I think, like, as you've just said, like, not being 60 frames is not a deal killer. I know after about 20, 30 minutes, my eyes adjust and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I prefer 60, but I could certainly, as you said, Gotham Knights, you can game through, roll credits on a 30. That's not a deal breaker. But there are so many little bits around the edges that are really eating at this experience. Input lag is massive, UI is massive, 30 frames per second is just icing on that cake. And then, the sparse world, the unpopulated feel of it. It's I'm right there with you guys. I'd be happy to put it down now and pick it back up in... How long do you reckon, Billy? Give me a number. How long until the 60 frames per second is patched into Redfall?
Oh, look, if they're serious about it, it would have to be within the next 3 to 4 weeks. But the reality is, I think we're probably looking at... I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at 4 to 5 months, to be honest with you.
I reckon... Yeah, man, I'm right there. I reckon if it was within that sort of 6-week window that you suggested, they would have delayed the game 6 weeks.
Yeah. And I don't know whether they were just having trouble with it. And as you said, you couple that with, the co-op experience and the lag with that, whether that's also impacting them being able to get to 60 frames. I'm not sure. So it sounds like that there's a fair bit of work to do other than just... the frame rate itself. There's all these other interconnected things that go with it that are causing those issues going forward. So I really don't see that being patched at any time in the short term, and you're probably looking at mid-term and later this year that gets done. Are people going to still be sticking around for that amount of time? I think the reality is most people are probably going to be playing this on Game Pass and do exactly what we've done, is download it, jump into it, play for 3, 4, 5 hours, get a feel for it, and just think, no, it's something that we were all hoping was in the AAA space is really almost a B tier game at this point.
Yeah.
And needs a fair bit of work. And I really don't know, as I mentioned before, where the longevity comes into it, because if you've got this area that you're sort of working around, and you've got the fire station as your safe house or base that you then go out and do the odd fetch mission or token. Killing mission or execution mission, whatever you want to call them. I can't see how it continues after that, given that the map itself is so sparsely populated. There's no NPCs, and even with enemies, it's pretty sparsely populated.
Yeah, man. It's I don't see a big pull here at all. Can you name me one feature that this game does that would pull you back in that no other game's doing? Like, what's the talk?
I couldn't give you one.
Either did I. I could not tell you one thing that this game is doing. Like, if you and I were going to sit down and play a co-op shooter experience, and this or Back 4 Blood, I believe both, like, this definitely is. I think Back 4 Blood is still in Xbox Game Pass. I don't know how you could realistically pick this over Back 4 Blood, assuming it's in Game Pass.
Oh, I can't either. And Back 4 Blood was okay playing it single player with the bots, but it really shines when you're in a co-op group and playing together. And for me, having just done that mission with you, no disrespect, but there was no difference between playing it by myself and playing it with you. Like, you didn't get any extra buzz out of it. The enemies weren't manifestly more difficult. There wasn't more of them. It was just, you basically go through the same thing you've already done, and you don't get much more of a real experience out of it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's lackluster would be my back of the box quote at this stage. Now, Bully, I've got time, but not necessarily the desire. Do you want to do one more mission, or should we hang it up here?
To be honest with you, I'm probably happy to give it away for the time being.
Fair enough.
I really don't know beyond tonight whether.
I think I've got the answer for you, mate.
Whether there's much more to it.
Yeah, 5 months. Give us Halloween. Let's get the 60 frames per second patch in place. Come back to this one maybe at Halloween. I think it'd suit the spooky season and give them maybe 5 more months development time to get some patches out. Fix the UI, fix the input lag, fix the opening cutscene, if nothing else. Give us a real opening cutscene. You can leave all the others as that animated sort of steppy diorama look, but it's just, that also leads to the real sort of, not indie feel, but certainly not AAA title. That cutscene.
Yeah, there's that, and there's, the other way I sort of look at it, it's almost that Destiny type release when that first came out, that the story was a bit disjointed, the voice acting was not great, and that had a few hurdles. So it's not something that they can't overcome. But the way it sits at the moment, and as we discussed before, I've got no idea what's going on with the story other than there's vampires in the town. They haven't really explained why you end up in the bottom of a lake with the water, up the sides of a boat and all the rest of it.
Makes no sense.
Makes no sense at all. None of the story that's come after that's really made any sense whatsoever. And you just. We just did that mission there where to go out and find the 2 choppers, and all you told, through this step, it's almost like comic book style of, there's 2 choppers have crashed, go out and have a look around and see if you can find anything that might be of use to us, and that's it. I don't know.
No. They need to abduct my kid. I need to be hunting for someone. Something.
Give you some reason behind it. Yeah, exactly. So
give me a grapple hook. Give me some sort of parkour system, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. Something. Just something to spice it up. As I said, I was really excited about it. Within an hour of playing it solo, and then this has just confirmed it that there's, it's just going to be dropped, I think. And then, I'm happy to revisit it when it's patched and they fix up some of the things. But as I said before, you might, and this is just throwing random numbers out, you might get a million people playing it today because it's on Game Pass. It's part of the package that they've got there. There's quite a few people excited for it. They'll jump into it. They'll have a look. And I would hate to see the player numbers this time next week.
Oh, yeah. I wish there was like a standard DB for Xbox. An independent third party just spilling the beans on the true analytics. How many people playing this live right now?
Yeah, well, that's it. And how many? Well, the bigger question is how many are going to be playing it next week, and what the drop-off percentage is, because I reckon this is just going to fall through the floor.
I agree completely. The tail of the tape will be the achievements as well. You can usually chart that if. Achievement 1's got a 95% pop, but then achievement 2's only got a 10% pop.
Well, it's funny. I'm not sure if you saw the percentage with that one that we popped there, where we in the red mist, 4.9%.
And that's a pretty quick one to get to.
Yeah, that's
half an hour.
Yeah, 100%. So that's something that can be knocked over pretty quickly, and only 4% of people have done it. So. I think that sort of says a lot. And I will say, just jump into the chat there, Ezekiel Smith And
Hey,
Tigaro, thanks for
Hey,
joining us. And Tigaro, just for your info there, Troy, is a PS4 Pro player.
exclusive, no Xbox for him. Fair enough to go. I won't ask for your thoughts on Redfall.
Well, if you want to, if you want to know our thoughts, I think we just canned it for the last half an hour. So, yeah, there you go.
We have indeed. All right, buddy. How about we wrap this bad boy up, mate?
We certainly will. Thanks for watching, and we'll certainly have some more thoughts and also the thoughts of Unky Dunky as well in a couple of nights on
And if I can jump in on that,
Yo.
Unky Dunky, if anyone of the three of us, if anyone's going to praise this game, it's Unky Dunky. So tune back in Thursday night for a more positive spin on Redfall. Back to you, bully.
Well, based on what I'm seeing in the comments, I don't think he's got anything positive to say either, so it might just be a Debbie Downer for that episode or that particular game discussion. But that's Gaming Enforcement Agency here on Geek Aloud at YouTube. That's every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Australian time. We discuss the games of the week, the news of the week, the new releases, and the standoff, as well as jumping into audience participation there. And if you cannot join us on YouTube, that is available on the podcast service of your choice if you prefer to listen to it in an audio format. But for tonight, I think we'll leave it there for the time being. Thanks for joining me, Troy, on this, I'll say, experience.
It's been a pleasure to join you, Billy. Thank you very much for having me. And have you got a calendar or something of the like handy, mate? Because it's just occurred to me, is this Thursday for GA? Is that May the 4th by chance?
That will be May the 4th.
Well, Unky Dunky, no spoilers, but I've got an idea for the standoff if we're going on May the 4th. And a big title came out recently as well.
I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark and say it's Jurassic Park related.
You've nailed that. Good on you, Billy. Thanks for having me, mate. It's been a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you very much. And what else can you do with the channel? Like and subscribe it, and you'll never miss it.